Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Today, I want to further explore one of my favorite authors of all time, Richard Bach. As I mentioned last time I talked about him, he might not be the first name that comes to mind when you think of Unity writers. But when I discovered his work as a teen, it felt like coming home. And now I understand that it's because he was exploring the same metaphysical New Thought principles that I grew up with in Unity. So today we're going to look at the 12 spiritual powers that Unity teaches lives within each of us, and we're going to see them through the eyes of Bach's unforgettable characters. These 12 faculties, faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, elimination, and life, aren't just abstract concepts, they're living forces within us, waiting to be recognized, developed, and expressed. And Richard Bach's characters, they're master classes in awakening these powers. So for faith, we're going to look at Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Faith, centered in the pineal gland, is the seat of spiritual vision. Jonathan Livingston Seagull dares to believe that the entire flock insists is impossible, that seagulls can fly for more than just getting food, that flight itself can be a spiritual practice and a path to transcendence. Cast out for refusing to accept their limitations, Jonathan holds the kind of faith that Hebrews 11:1 describes, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. His faith isn't some distant deity, but in the truth that he already is more than the flock believes is possible. Jonathan's faith doesn't waver through crashes and failures because it's not based on outcomes. It's based on truth. He knows what's possible because he's glimpsed it in the moments where he breaks through to higher speeds, a tighter turn, a more perfect flight. Faith is our capacity to perceive beyond physical senses, to know truth even when circumstances contradict it. When we activate faith, we too can fly beyond our limits that our flock has accepted, and trust our inner knowing, even when the outer world says we're crazy. For strength, we'll look at Donald Shimoda's persistence, the reluctant Messiah. Strength, located in the small of the back, is our power to endure and stand firm in truth. In Illusions, Donald discovered he was a Messiah, performed miracles, gathered followers, and then walked away. He quit because the crowds wanted him to be their savior. Rather than teaching them, they were their own saviors. It takes tremendous strength to walk away from what others want you to be in order to live your truth. Donald's strength is spiritual, the strength to disappoint people in service of higher truth, to be misunderstood, to keep teaching even when students just want to be rescued. When Richard meets Donald, he's resistant and skeptical. Donald has the strength to meet him where he is, to teach him through stories rather than lectures, to persist in planting seeds even when the harvest seems far off. The Messiah's handbook teaches you are never given a wish without also being given the power to make it true. You may have to work for it, however. That strength, the willingness to persist through difficulties and endure the process of becoming. For judgment and wisdom, we'll look at the elder goal. Wisdom, centered at the solar plexus, is our power of right judgment, discernment, and insight. After Jonathan is cast out from the flock, he meets the elder goal, ancient wisdom personified. The elder goal doesn't teach through rules or doctrine, but through questions and demonstrations. He shows Jonathan that perfection isn't about the perfect wing angle or speed, it's about perfect understanding. Wisdom is about seeing what's really happening beneath the surface appearances. The elder bull sees that Jonathan isn't just trying to fly fast, he's trying to remember his divine nature. He sees that the flock's limitations are simply agreed upon illusions. Knowledge says, this is the wing angle for maximum speed. Wisdom says, you are already everywhere at once. Learning to fly is just learning to remember that truth. When we develop our wisdom faculty, we see past illusions and recognize truth, even when it's hidden behind false appearances. We understand that problems are opportunities for growth, disguised as obstacles. Love. Leslie Parrish Bach. Love centered at the heart is our power to see wholeness, to unify, to recognize the divine in all. In Bridge Across Forever, Bach and Leslie don't just fall in love, they recognize each other. They see through time and space to the eternal connection they share, understanding that their relationship isn't about two incomplete people becoming complete together. It's about two complete beings choosing to share their journey. Leslie is on her own path, doing her own work. She doesn't need Richard to complete her. She needs him to witness her, to share with her, to grow alongside her. That's mature, spiritual love. Not the desperate clinging of lack, but the joyous sharing of abundance. In Bridge Across Forever, it's the recognition that love transcends time, space, and even physical form. When we love from our divine nature rather than our ego's needs, we create connections that cannot be broken by circumstances. Love is more than emotion. It's a power of unification, our ability to see past differences to the underlying oneness. This is the love that Jesus taught and all the other great masters. Not sentimental attachment, but spiritual recognition. Power. Taking dominion. Again, we come to Donald Shimoda. Power, located at the throat, is our ability to speak truth and take dominion over our experience. Donald demonstrates repeatedly that we have dominion over physical reality. He walks through a spinning propeller, manifests tools that appear out of nowhere, showing that the laws of physics are really just agreements about how reality works, and we can change our agreements. What makes Donald's teaching profound? He's not showing off. Every miracle is meant to wake people up to their own power. He's living what Jesus taught in John 14:12. Whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these. Donald tells Richard, you are always free to change your mind and choose a different future or a different past. Power isn't about controlling others. It's about recognizing we are the authors of our experience. We have creative authority to choose what we think, how we respond, and what meaning we assign to events. When aligned with truth, synchronicity flows naturally. When we speak from this alignment, reality rearranges itself to match our word. Imagination. The ferrets in their parallel worlds. Imagination, centered between the eyes, is our power to visualize, to form mental images, to create new possibilities. In Bach's The Ferret Chronicles, the ferret characters discover that there are infinite parallel worlds, each one representing different choices and possibilities. By imagining different scenarios and outcomes, they can actually access those realities. They're not daydreaming, they're navigating the infinite possibilities of consciousness. Imagination isn't fantasy or pretending, it's our capacity to see beyond what is to what could be. When the ferrets imagine rescuing other ferrets, they see it, feel it, experience it. It's so completely that it becomes real. They're tuning into possibilities that already exist in the infinite mind of God. Bach writes, every problem has a gift for you in its hands. The ferrets discover this through imagination. They imagine Pass the problem to the gift. Visualize beyond the difficulty to the growth. When we activate imagination, we become co-creators with the divine. We envision reality as it could be and then align our thoughts, feelings, and actions with that vision. Understanding. Richard Bach, the student. Understanding, centered in the front forehead, is our power to comprehend spiritual truth and see clearly. Throughout Bach's books, Richard represents the spiritual student developing understanding. And illusions, he starts resistant and skeptical, wanting proof and logic, but gradually, through experience and teaching, his understanding deepens. He begins to see that reality isn't solid, it's fluid, responsive to consciousness. Understanding isn't intellectual knowledge. Richard has plenty of that. Understanding comes when knowledge transforms into insight, when information becomes wisdom, when facts evolve into truth. The shift from prove it to me to show me how to see what you see. That's the activation of understanding. Richard reads the Messiah's Handbook, watches Donald, tries things himself, fails, tries again. Gradually, his understanding expands. When we develop understanding, we stop arguing with truth and start recognizing it. We stop demanding that spiritual laws prove themselves according to material logic and start perceiving the deeper logic of consciousness itself. Will. Jonathan's choice to return. Will, centered in the forehead, is our power to choose, to commit, to direct our energy with intention. After Jonathan reaches the higher dimensions and learns from the elder goal, he faces a choice: stay in this perfect place or return to earth, back to the flock that cast him out, and teach. Jonathan chooses to return, not because he has to, but because he understands that learning without sharing is incomplete. His will aligns with his purpose. When Jonathan returns, he doesn't force his teachings on the flock or try to convince those who aren't ready. He simply makes himself available to those who are seeking. That's will operating in harmony with wisdom. Will isn't about forcing outcomes or muscling through resistance. It's about choosing our direction and allowing divine order to arrange the details. Bach writes, "You're always free to change your mind and choose a different future or different past." You'll see that come up repeatedly. Will is the executive power. Once we've imagined possibilities and gained understanding, will commits us to a course and walks it. Order. The laws in Bach's universe. Order, located at the navel, is our power to organize, to discern divine patterns, to align with universal law. Throughout Bach's work, there's a consistent teaching about order, not rigid, punishing dogma, but the organic order of spiritual laws. The Messiah's Handbook teaches there's no such thing as a problem without a gift for you in its hands. That's order. The understanding that the universe is organized according to principles of growth and learning. Donald teaches about the laws of consciousness. You teach best what you most need to learn. The bond that links your true family is not one of blood, but of respect and joy in each other's lives. These aren't arbitrary rules. They're observations of how consciousness operates. Order means spiritual principles are reliable. Cause and effect operate consistently at the consciousness level. What we think about, we bring about. These aren't punishments or rewards. They're simply how the universe is organized. When we activate order, we stop fighting universal principles and start working with them. We recognize that discipline isn't restriction, it's alignment with natural laws. Zeal, Jonathan's passion for flight. This is one of my favorites. Zeal is located at the back of the neck. It is our power of enthusiasm, intense devotion, and passionate commitment. Nobody embodies zeal quite like Jonathan. In those early chapters when he's learning to fly, he's up before dawn, practices until exhausted, tries the same maneuver hundreds of times, ignoring hunger, comfort, social acceptance, all in pursuit of this one thing that sets his soul on fire. Don't believe what your eyes are telling you, he tells himself. All they show is limitation. Look with your understanding. Find out what you already know and you'll see the way to fly. That's zeal. Not reckless passion, but focused enthusiasm in service of truth. Jonathan senses that in perfect flight he'll discover something essential about his own nature. Zeal is what gets up early to meditate, keeps us studying spiritual truth, makes us try again when we fail. But zeal needs to be guided by wisdom or it becomes fanaticism. Jonathan's zeal is balanced by his willingness to learn from the elder goal and to serve others. Zeal is essential for spiritual growth. We can't evolve through lukewarm commitment. We need the fire, the passion, the intense desire for truth. Elimination, letting go of the flock's limitations. Elimination, located in the lower back, is our power to release, to let go, to dissolve what no longer serves us. One of the most powerful themes throughout Bach's work is the necessity of letting go. Jonathan must let go of the flock's approval and their version of what a seagull should be. Richard must let go of his skepticism and his rational mind's insistence on maintaining control. Donald has to let go of being a messiah in the traditional sense. And the ferrets must let go of believing they're stuck in one reality. Elimination isn't about loss. It's about releasing what blocks the flow of good into our lives. When Jonathan lets go of the flock's limitations, he gains infinite sky. When Richard lets go of skepticism, he gains the ability to experience miracles. Bach writes, often we can't access that power to make those wishes true because we're holding on to beliefs about why it won't work. Elimination clears that debris. Unity teaches that elimination works hand in hand with affirmation. We release the old while affirming the new. Jesus said you cannot put new wine into old wineskins. And that works with our mental wineskins as well. Life, the eternal nature of Bach's characters. Life, located in the generative organs, is our power of vitality, renewal, and understanding our eternal nature. The most persistent theme in Richard Bach's work is that we are not our bodies. We are eternal consciousness having a temporary physical experience. Life doesn't begin at birth or end at death. It's infinite, eternal, always. In Jonathan Livingston's Seagull, death is revealed as an illusion. Jonathan dies from the flock's perspective, but simply transitions to another level of existence. The elder goal doesn't die. He simply releases form to move into formlessness. In Illusions, Donald explains every person, all the events of your life are there because you've drawn them there. What you choose to do with them is up to you. We are creators, eternal beings choosing our experiences. The ferrets discover they exist in infinite parallel realities simultaneously. Life isn't linear, it's multidimensional. When we activate the life faculty, we stop fearing death because we understand it's just a transition. We live more fully, more vitally, more enthusiastically because we recognize this moment as one expression of infinite life. So let's take a moment now to integrate these 12 powers within ourselves. We'll do this in our meditation. So find a comfortable position, and if you'd like, close your eyes and just allow your breath to deepen naturally. And imagine yourself standing on a cliff overlooking an endless ocean. The sun is rising, painting the sky in colors that don't have names. You feel a slight breeze. You notice something extraordinary. You have wings. Not physical wings, but wings of consciousness. Wings of spiritual power. These are your 12 wings, each one representing a divine faculty within you. Feel your first pair of wings, faith, lifting you slightly off the ground. Like Jonathan, you believe you can fly, not because someone told you, but because you remember it's your nature. Breathe into that knowing. Now you feel your wings of strength, solid, powerful, capable of carrying you through any storm. Like Donald, you have the spiritual stamina to persist, to endure, to stand in truth. Feel that strength in your body. Your wings of wisdom begin to flutter, like the elder gull you see beyond surface appearances. You understand what's really happening beneath the illusion. Trust that wisdom. Love wings open at your heart, vast, unifying, seeing the divine in all. Like Leslie, you recognize that love is recognition, not possession. Breathe into that love. Power wings emerge at your throat. Like Donald manifesting tools, you have dominion over your experience. You speak your truth, and reality responds. Feel that creative authority. Imagination wings appear before your eyes, shimmering, showing you infinite possibilities. Like the ferrets, you can envision any reality, access any potential, see the possibilities before you. Understanding wings open at your forehead, clear, perceiving, comprehending truth that transcends logic. Like Richard learning from Donald, you understand, you see, you know. Wheel wings steady at your brow, choosing, committing, directing your flight with intention. Like Jonathan choosing to return and teach, you align your will with purpose. Make that commitment now. Order wings organize at your center. Patterns, principles, natural law supporting your flight. You're not flying randomly, you're dancing with divine order. Feel that structure supporting you. Zeal wings ignite at the base of your skull. Passion, enthusiasm, intense devotion to truth. Like Jonathan practicing until dawn, you feel the fire of spiritual hunger. Let it fuel you. Elimination wings release at your lower back, letting go, dissolving limitations, clearing the way. Like Jonathan leaving the flock, you release what no longer serves. Feel the freedom in that release. Life wings pulse at your root, eternal, infinite, indestructible vitality. Like consciousness itself, you are deathless, timeless, boundless. Remember your eternal nature. Now with all 12 wings spread wide, you lift off the cliff. You're not falling, you're flying. All 12 powers working together, supporting your flight, carrying you beyond limits you once believed were real. You soar higher, seeing vast distances, the ocean below, the sky above, the horizon infinite in all directions. This is your natural state, unlimited, free, expressing all your divine faculties fully. In a moment, we'll enter a minute of silence. During this silence, simply fly. Experience your 12 powers lifting you, carrying you, expressing through you. If thoughts arise, like seagulls, let them fly beside you without attachment. Return to your breath, your flight, and your freedom. Let us begin our silence now. As we return from our silence, take a deep breath and feel all 12 powers still active within you. They don't disappear when this meditation ends. They're always available, always present, always yours to use. Begin to feel your physical body again, knowing it's just one expression of your eternal consciousness. When you're ready, take one more deep breath and gently open your eyes. Charles Fillmore taught that the 12 powers aren't things we need to acquire. They're already within us, waiting to be recognized, developed, and expressed. Bach's characters show us what it looks like when someone activates these powers. He once wrote, "Learning is finding out what you already know. Doing is demonstrating that you know it. And teaching is reminding others that they know just as well as you." We're all learners, doers, and teachers. That's what these 12 powers are. They're us learning what we already know, doing what we've already been capable of, and teaching what we've remembered. This week, I invite you to pay attention to which of the 12 powers is calling you to learn, do, or teach, and to be open to the adventure. And so it is. Thank you.